Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the Heewing T1 and especially the VTOL upgrade kit. But before we get onto that, I just want to give you a brief little history of the T1 Ranger from Heewing. It's a great little plane, very versatile, very nimble, very fast, and in general, a great flyer. The fact that it's now available as a VTOL version is even better. Unfortunately, the VTOL version has one major flaw, and it's a flaw that Heewing has had in the previous version as well as in this version. When the original Heewing T1 Ranger came out, it was super popular and people loved to fly it. However, it had one major flaw, and that was the motor nacelles were very poorly designed. Instead of the motor sitting on some kind of a hard plate and then mounting to the plastic, which unfortunately is very low melting point plastic, they decided it would be a good idea to directly mount the motors onto the plastic. It didn't work out for most of us that fly in warmer regions like the Balkans, for example, because we do have outside temperatures of up to 40 degrees and these motors do get hot. So in such conditions, it was just probably never designed to fly in that, and when they tested it, it worked fine for them, but it didn't work fine for many of us here in Europe, and our planes crashed as a result of the motor mount just melting from the temperature of the motor. Heewing then came out with a new design, which was something that I also suggested to them, so I don't know if I had any design input in this or not, but I did send them over some sketches of how I thought this should look like, and the design actually does look like this, so maybe they did take some inspiration from this. In either case, this was the design that the newer versions came out with. And as you can see, this design does have a nice little plate that this sits on. This is actually a PCB plate, and it's almost like a heat spreader. So it makes sure that there is no thermal, it's a nice thermal insulation layer. So by the time the heat gets up to this point where the screw is, it's already insufficient heat to melt this entire thing and just warp it out of place. Unfortunately, the VTOL upgrade kit also came with some parts that were very poorly designed. And in this case, I'd like to show you the part that's in question. I believe that there's quite a few of you that might have been having some issues with this because they break very easily. Unfortunately, this part is made from carbon plastic, and whilst it's nice that it has the gears on the inside, great, yes, but unfortunately, the one question that I'd really like to know the answer to is, why on earth would you save half a gram of carbon plastic in here when you can make this part super strong, but you make it so that it breaks? I mean, is it a design feature? I don't think so. When we look at the original part, we can see this is a good one. I swapped this one out as well. But we can see something even worse, which is the injection molding point, which is where the material would have flown into, is exactly at the location where most of the stresses are actually transferred to the servo. So it doesn't make any sense to make a part like this. And really, Heewing, I think if you're watching this video, you should at least try to make a better version of this. In either case, I've gone ahead and designed my own. So this is the part. You can print it out of PLA or PETG, which would be even better if you have it on hand. This part, as you can see, has the gap in the middle completely filled in. Unfortunately, I don't have a printer that is capable of printing gears that are this small. So what I did is I adjusted this inner diameter to such a level where you can just slide it on top, and it's kind of a friction fit. So as you're sliding it, the plastic will deform and the gears will kind of grind into and just make themselves stick. So you don't have any slipping and so on. And once you put the screw on top of the servo, it's not going to go anywhere. So this part, I've tested it, I've tried it, it works fine, it's super strong, and I can definitely recommend you to do this upgrade because if you crash, it's very likely that this will break, so have some spares on hand. Now, at the moment, as you can see, I've only swapped out one side, so I've only done this side. Next, I will design the other side, and then you'll have both STL files from a Thingiverse link in the description below. In either case, if you like this video, please leave a like. If you have any questions, leave a comment. And if you like my content, feel free to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.